Everyone tells you to start small, make it easy, make it so small that you just can't say no. Another thing you do before bed, like brushing your teeth. I think that advice has killed more habits than laziness ever has. Because a habit that fits neatly into your life won't change your life. The 5 a.m. gym, the language you can't speak yet, the diet you have to actually plan for. Those are life-changing because you have to work around them. The disruption isn't what costs you, it is the change. And so I'm going to tell you why dipping your toes in is one of the most dangerous things you can do to yourself. When you look at these two images, you already know who's more likely to swim. This dip gives you an exit. You already know this person isn't swimming if it's cold. The same goes for heading to the gym when you feel up to it. The early start if you're not too tired. The project you'd work on if you had more time. I used to use all of these, but every if in this sentence gives you a way out before you've even started. And whatever it is that keeps you from doing it is always going to apply at some stage. And the reason you're not doing it is because it's hard. And there's one word that I think hides all of this hardness, and it's just. This little word that we throw around, I think does real damage. The way it oversimplifies a task by saying, if you just got up early, if you just went to the gym, if you just ate better. It hides the real time and effort and skill it takes to do that task. Getting out of bed when we're short on sleep, blocking out 2 hours to get to the gym, planning your meals for the week. Like if you haven't done all of that before, it's going to take a lot of effort. And so when you shrink something small, your mind treats it as not worth doing. And so when you don't do it, it costs you nothing. And we don't realize it when we use this word, but our subconscious does. Personally, I think it's easier to change everything dramatically than it is to slightly alter certain things in your life. Now, why is this easier? This guy is going to swim. There is no way around it. The moment he jumped, he removed all self-negotiation that was tied to the task in the first place. The sink or swim mentality. And when you start a new habit or routine, it's better to have this mindset than this one. And the reason behind this is that people love to talk about discipline. Discipline this, discipline that. For me, I know I have zero discipline. The sink or swim mindset has nothing to do with discipline. Whether this guy has discipline or not has nothing to do with the fact that he is going to be swimming. I know I'm very influenced by the people around me. I love having beers with my mates and I drink a lot of them. And for that reason, I have to limit the activities I do like that so I can stay on track. And like that isn't discipline. It is like straight up removing the negotiation altogether. For example, if you want to eat better, don't set yourself up for failure. If you have treats in the cupboard, it's going to be way easier to not eat treats if you just didn't have them. So another example of diving in is it's easier to do something every day than it is to do it sporadically. For example, sleep, exercise, learning something. Like it's easier to maintain a consistent body clock than it is to rely on sheer willpower every morning. The same goes with exercise and any productive thing worth doing. If you do something every day, it increases its compounding gains, it removes the daily negotiation, and it makes you adapt. This adaptation is the most life-changing thing. It makes you problem solve. How am I going to fit this in my day? Like, how do I make it sustainable? There will be times where that thing will be the last thing you want to do, but you dove, right? So there's this David Goggins quote that I love, and it's like, sorry, buddy, this is what we do now. And it's like him talking to himself. It's that moment of you realizing that you can no longer negotiate with yourself. And when that happens, your mind expands. How do you do it? So by no means am I David Goggins. Like you've probably noticed, I've spent the first half of this just like ripping in, just talking about how hard everything is. To me, that makes everything else around that easier. Like if you raise the difficulty in one aspect of your life, the perceived difficulty of other areas will actually decrease. This has been studied in like endurance athletes, like their resiliency transfers into most other areas of their life, which I think is fascinating. So I'll give you an example. Every day I have to walk up a hill. It takes me 25 minutes. 2 to 3 years ago, that would have been an Uber ride. That 100% would have been the hardest thing I would have done that day. Today, I refuse to let that be the hardest part of my day. And if you think the hardest part of your day is something that you don't think is worth doing, you need to add something else in. So the first thing I want you to do is pick something difficult that matters to you. It can be anything. It can be a language, a workout, diet plan, take steps towards starting a business. I'm not sure what it is, but you know what it is. And you need to acknowledge that it is difficult. And what's difficult for you isn't going to be the same for other people, and that's okay. You need to acknowledge that it is, give it the attention that it deserves, and then you need to start. Now that we're on the ball, how do we stay on? As we just established, we're not Goggins yet. So how do we maintain this? You plan and then you commit. The planning is going to be the most important part because it's how you make everything around the hard thing that you're doing easy. It's your gym bag packed the night before. It's knowing what time you're going to fit your skill acquisition in. It's time spent planning your meals. Like all of those things clear the runway for you to actually focus on the thing that matters. So when you make this plan, you stay on it. You give it a really good go and know that it's not always going to be convenient or fun. When I say commit, it also doesn't mean grinding yourself into the ground. Commitment is that you do it every day. We're not trying to burn out and we're not trying to break our bodies being heroes in the gym, because that's how you end up swimming to shore and climbing out of the water. Once you start doing these things, they will start to feel easier and you'll adjust. So whatever it is you've set out to do, turn up the difficulty a little bit more, whether that be more intensity or maybe you just try and fit something else in, because that difficulty is where the growth is. So for me, I've made some pretty big changes in the way I live my life, and I'm not going to pretend like I've got everything figured out, but I feel like I have gained some clarity on how to make change in my life. And essentially it's just stop dipping your toes, pick things that matter to you and adjust your life around those things. And yeah, whatever it is that you're doing, try not to dip your toes in. Like you just need to be the guy that's in the water.